Fiscal years 2015 and 2016, the town of Weddington's operating budget was built on an expected revenue of approximately $1.8 million. That's a great question. Did you know that 92% of the town's operating revenue starts off as your money? Now, before your money is yours, for most Weddington residents, the federal government takes between 25 and 35% as income tax. North Carolina then takes an additional 5.8%. The town doesn't directly receive any of this money, so we'll get them off the screen. The majority of the town revenue comes from property taxes on your home, land, and cars. These property taxes account for about 55% of the town's revenue, followed by sales tax disbursements accounting for another 37%. Zoning and permits kick in 7%, while miscellaneous and investment income fill in that last 1%. So let's break these down so you can see how you contribute to the town's coffers. To understand your property taxes, you first must know the taxable value of your property. For real property like homes and land, Union County determines the taxable value. By state law, the county must recalculate property values a minimum of every 8 years. This recalculation uses actual sales transactions as part of the assessment process. For your automobiles, the taxable value is determined by the state of North Carolina and uses a registry of actual vehicle sales as input. Well, I'm glad you asked. There's several ways to find the taxable value of your home and land. One way is to look on your Union County property tax notice in the upper right corner. A second way is to use the Union County GIS Go Maps 4.0. You can find this on the Union County website. When the maps appear, you can enter your parcel number if you know it, but it's easier to just enter your address or your name. For this example, we'll enter the address for Weddington Town Hall, 1924 Weddington Road. Then look in the lower right corner. This is the tax value of the property. For your automobile, the only reliable way is to look on the registration card to the left of the actual sticker. Once you know the tax value of your property, determining the actual amount of tax that you pay is strictly based on your address and your corresponding tax district. For the 2015-2016 tax year, every property in Union County will be assessed these 4 taxes: a Union County tax, a countywide fire, countywide EMS, and schools. So for example, if we consider real property with a tax value of $400,000 and an automobile with a tax value of $20,000, these are the amounts you pay to Union County per $100 of value. Then, based on your tax district, you'll pay an additional tax. For Weddington residents, this is $0.052 per $100 of value, making your total property tax an aggregate of $0.8285, or said another way, 82.85 cents per $100 of tax value. If your property value is $200,000 and automobile $10,000, your property taxes will be less. And likewise, if you have $1 million home and $60,000 in cars, you'll pay more. The calculations are linear. So let's compare taxes in Weddington to our neighbors in surrounding communities. We in Weddington enjoy the second lowest tax rate in Western Union County. Because we have a municipal fire district, we have only one all-inclusive tax rate. The lowest aggregate tax rate in Western Union County is Wesley Chapel, followed by Marvin, Mineral Springs, Stallings, Waxhaw, and Monroe. There are parcels in unincorporated Union County that only pay the 4 Union County taxes and a fire fee or fire tax. Now, a comparison wouldn't be complete if we didn't look to our 2 closest neighbors in Mecklenburg County. Now, both of them are at the expensive end of the scale. So after everything is assessed, billed, and collected, the town of Weddington receives one line item in the town's budget, ad valorem, which is Latin for according to value. These property tax revenues were $1.1 million in the fiscal year that ended June 2014. Because property values have been depressed, the ad valorem revenue has dipped over the past few years. We all know what sales tax is. So let's explore how sales tax that you pay makes it back to Weddington's budget by comparing identical $100 purchases at Lowe's Cuthbertson, Union County, and Lowe's Ballantine Commons, Mecklenburg County. At Lowe's Cuthbertson, your sales tax will be 6.75%, making your total sale $106.75. That same $100 purchase at Lowe's Ballantine Commons will be taxed at 7.25%, making your total sale $107.25. That's a great question. See, your sales tax is made up of two and sometimes three components. First, there's the state sales tax of 4.75%. Then the local option sales tax. This is an additional amount that the state allows counties to add in order to generate sales tax revenue for those counties. Across North Carolina, 71 counties have a 2% local option tax. 29 counties have a 2.25% local option, and 3 counties, including Mecklenburg, have a 0.5% transit tax. This 0.5% is the difference in the tax you pay in our example. So far, we've considered general merchandise, but there are several other forms of sales tax. When you go to the grocery store, pay your power bill, your gas bill, pay your telephone or cell phone bill, or buy cable or satellite TV. Even beer, wine, and liquor are taxed, but it's by the gallon. As sales transactions occur across the state, merchants are responsible for collecting, reporting, and paying these taxes to the North Carolina Department of Revenue. The Department of Revenue aggregates the funds into various buckets by county and municipality. Then, using a series of algorithms, now get this, based on your municipality's proportion of your county's total property tax levy, the state disperses these funds back to the various counties and municipalities. So think about that. All of the retail, food, utility, and other sales taxes generated across Union County create a sales tax disbursement to Weddington based on our percentage of property taxes. You know, in fiscal year ending 2015, the state dispersed a whopping $3,377,320,194.88 back to the towns and counties. So these were Weddington's allocations for the past 5 years. Notice here how our sales tax allocation has jumped up almost $200,000 a year since creating the municipal fire district in 2012. This is because we combined our city and fire district tax into one municipal tax, thus garnering a larger share of the sales tax pie without increasing taxes on residents 1 red cent. You can thank Pam Hadley and Dan Barry for that move. You know, others in this election have campaigned on, quote, getting out of the fire service business. Well, it looks like getting out of the fire service business would decrease the size of our sales tax allocation and cost the town a significant amount of money. Now we can add the sales tax line item to the Weddington revenue profile. We all know that Weddington has grown dramatically over the past 10 or 15 years. You can see that in this time lapse of the Lake Forest Preserve off of Cox Road. When landowners exercise their right to sell their land, the town's obligation is to zone it within our guidelines. This zoning and associated building permits, along with renovations and other projects at existing homes, creates the zoning and planning revenue stream. Finally, the 1% of miscellaneous revenue comes from investment earnings, events, and other activities. So let's add permits and fees to the revenue profile, along with miscellaneous and investments, then sum the columns. Oh, awesome question. Someone hand me that pen. Only ad valorem or property taxes, and only the property tax rate, currently 5.2 cents per hundred. Taxable value is a function of the economy. Sales tax revenues are a function of consumer spending, and the disbursement algorithms are governed by state law. Zoning and permits are a function of landowners' desire to sell and developers' desire to build. So we've taken a look at our annual revenue. So next we need to understand that each year our revenue comes in on top of what is called a fund balance. Think of that as our savings. As of the last audited financial report, the town carried a fund balance of almost $2.4 million. And in addition, the town has no debt. Now let's take a brief look at where your town spends your money. The big hitters are legal fees and then economic development, the zoning and permits team, police coverage, which we hire from the Union County Sheriff's Department, and then administration, the fine folks that work at Town Hall, and finally fire service. So you can see from the pie chart that half of your money goes directly into public safety, as it should. So there you have it, an overview of how your town's money flows. If you enjoyed this interaction and believe that elected officials should educate and inform, listen and engage, and fight to keep those things that make Weddington great, then we need your help.